like I'm not.
Hey. So welcome back to the Mo Mindful Show. All right, we are back and on this fabulous Friday. It is March 22nd, 2024. And we have a special engagement once again this evening, as we had about a month ago, in fact. Mm-hmm. And we're going to welcome Pastor Calvert and Ra'chel Edison from Believers of Faith Ministry. And we're going to have a very fun, hopefully inspiring and enlightening conversation. We call it Couples Talk. So let's bring Ra'chel and Cal up. All right. Welcome.
There we go.
Hey.
Good to see y'all.
Yeah.
Good to see you as well.
Good to be back.
So we're gonna continue our conversation. Just have some more fun. Let me make sure the audio is up. Okay. And so looks like we got somebody already tapping in. Let's see. All right. Ty Master 74. All right.
Right. Hi, Ty.
So what's up, Ty? So today, or this evening, we're just going to continue on our conversation that we started off a month ago. And but first, I want to thank you all for coming on once again. I think you all provided a lot of valuable information for couples who are already married, for people who are planning on getting married, or even for the single individual who, in the future will consider a relationship. And so we're grateful that you all have 23 years under your belt, and you're sharing that knowledge with us. So y'all want to say anything before we get started?
I do. I think
y'all know that. She got something to say.
No, but look, I was thinking that it was really one of the powerful things about this talk versus a lot of other talks that maybe we've been a part of is that most talks we've been a part of has been all married couples, right? Mm-hmm. And I think the one thing that makes this powerful is that you guys are not married yet, right? Mm-hmm. And so it brings a big spectrum of, like you said in your intro, of being able to reach and touch people who are in that dating stage and are considering marriage, considering, do I want to date this person? That some people may be even in relationships where they're even considering now, like, do I want to take this further? Like, is this worth me even going deeper? Right. And so I think that's the most powerful thing I think about this conversation is that it's not just from a married perspective. Right. It's good to have both sides come together and be able to give insight.
Right. Yep. Yeah.
100% agree. 100% agree.
Yeah, what she said.
He's starting already.
We all on the same page with that. Hi, Teresa. I see Teresa Swift and Robert. Great friends of mine, married couple as well. Mm-hmm. So let's start off with kind of where we left off. We talked about one thing we talked about last time is the importance of having a relationship with God and prayer, meditating. Mm-hmm. And so let me just not try to go off the top of my head. So we both mentioned how prayer, meditation, and manifestation played roles in our romantic encounters. So, just to refresh people's memory, with me and LaMarr, after I discovered that I like her, then I courted her. She actually invited me or asked me to court. Well, she said I want to be courted, and I think that's a lost art in itself. But
that's right. That's right.
Wanted to be courted, and but in terms of manifestation, back in 2019 of October, I wrote down around 30 things that I wanted in a woman.
Right.
In my woman, my ideal woman was the name of the paper, and I saved it. I sent it to my best friend Larry, and unfortunately, that was the only way I was able to find it because I went through old emails that I sent to him. But after I met her and started to get to know her, I was like, wow, I hadn't seen the list yet, but I knew that there was like some core things that I wanted even without me referring to the list. But then I pulled the list out and I was like, oh my God, like this is exactly what I asked God for, right? And so I wanted to just say, what are your thoughts on manifesting and prayer, having your prayers answered as it relates to relationships?
Well, it was, I'll say this, it was prayer that helped confirm that she was for me as well. I had when I thought about, I guess, going after her, I was kind of confused about it because I didn't really know her very well.
Okay.
And I spoke to my pastor about it, and he was surprised. He's like, Ra'chel? I was like, yeah, And he told me, he said, pray about it. That's exactly what he said. He said, pray about it. And I prayed about it. And after a while, I felt that God gave me the confirmation that's going to be your wife. There's some noise in the house. I'm sorry. That's going to be your wife, but it was that prayer that actually confirmed it. And not until then was when I actually approached her, but God had already given me the confirmation. But again, that came through prayer. So it's really important. It's really important because, you don't want to necessarily go into it blind or what have you.
Right.
You want to have that godly wisdom,
Right.
Make sure that, that you're on track and this is the voice of God. And so you have to have a prayer life to know the voice of God. To have that relationship to know when it's God speaking to you and know that it's God's voice. So yeah, that's exactly what happened. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think mine was prayer before and prayer after. Like I had been through a series of bad relationships and even some abusive relationships. So when I got to a place where I was like, okay, God, I really want to do this right. Like I really want to wait on the right person, and I want to wait until you really send me the right person. And it was a long path, to get to that point. But I was really serious about it. And I remember going to a women's retreat, and our pastor at the time was telling me that, you keep waiting because God is going to send you the man that will worship the ground that you walk on. And I was like, what? Like, and it wasn't like a worship, like he going to do everything that I say. Even in my prayer for marriage, the only thing I really prayed for was, God, give me a husband that will tell me no. Because I knew me, right? I knew that if I get a guy that's going to spoil me, give me everything I need, we're going to be broke. So I need a guy that's going to tell me no, not all the time, but no when it's necessary, and me be able to hear it. So even after Pascal came to me, as many of y'all know, I asked and prayed for many confirmations. I said, nah, God, I need to make sure it is really the one. Like I even asked God to the point where I said, God, you are so powerful. If you could open up the Red Sea, I know you could write on a piece of paper, like he is mine. Like that's how serious I was about it. And I was testing God. Like, let me see if God really gonna do it. Let me see if he write down on a piece of paper. He didn't do that, but I was that serious about it that I really was making sure that this time I was with the guy that God really had designed for me. And when he designed him for me, he literally was riding down Rock Creek Park, and a vision of me came into his mind.
That's true.
Now, when he said we didn't know each other, he wasn't lying. Like I may have said hi to him in church, but that was it. Like I never had a deep conversation with him. I never knew. Matter of fact, his ex-girlfriend used to be on the praise team with me, and we would talk about him. Like, and then she left the church, and a while later, God put us together. But I didn't know him, so I really relied on God to really make sure that this person that I didn't know, God was sending me, that he was really sending me. Yeah.
So what about you? Prayer, manifestation, any of that?
Yes. So for me, like with you, like the same thing with you, I've been through some bad relationships, some toxic relationships. So when he came, I kind of like was just focused, and I was like so focused that I didn't want to mess anything up. You know what I mean? Like I was just like, no, God, like you gotta literally like give me like you have to literally, I have to hear your voice or something, you know what I'm saying? And so it took me a minute. It like took me a minute because I was okay with being by myself. So I got to that point now, you know what I'm saying? But before then, it took me a long time because I was single for a long time and I always wanted to get married and everything. But as soon as I got to that point, that's when he came. You see what I'm saying? So it was like, I think I stopped focusing on it and I just kind of focused on my life and just trying to be, get closer to God and do what I need to do for myself. And once I started to do that by myself, took me a minute. That's when then God showed me, okay, this is the one. You know what I mean? Like this, like give this man a chance. And he came in. Like I said, it just took me a minute, but I finally was like, okay, wait a minute. God is showing me something different.
So how's he doing?
He's doing good. Yeah. It's a different relationship. It's something that I never expected.
Sure, good answer. Good answer, baby.
But but that's the truth though. Like, right. A lot of people they don't wait. You know what I'm saying? They go seeking and looking and finding. And what I think the reason that, I was ready and available, well, actually, I wasn't available in my mind. I wasn't ready in my mind, and I really wasn't available in my mind. But God had made me available because I waited and I found me. Right. When I found me, I was able to find us. And it made a difference, And all other times I was looking for somebody to complete something in me or complete a void of, maybe my father not being around, like whatever it was that I was going through in life. I was looking for all those things. I had been so complete like you in me that when God sent him, I literally said, God, look, I don't want to lust after nothing that's not mine. Right. Like I was that serious.
Yeah,
like
I was something to lust after at that time. Yeah.
He was. I'll tell you, when I met him, his arms was like this. Like he would walk down the street just like he was so strong. Like people didn't even remember his name. They was like, "That's your man." He like the one that came in all strong. But I didn't see none of that at first because I didn't even want to think of the thought of us being a couple if it wasn't going to be something that was going to be worth my while because I had already done that before. Like I ain't doing that again. You get to a certain age, I don't want to do that again. I didn't been through all that. Like I spent time dealing with me, being with me, dating me, being by myself, thinking for myself, providing for myself. Like I want to make sure if I'm gonna give myself over to being submissive to somebody else, he gotta be the right one. Right. If I'm gonna live about the Bible wife, I'm gonna make sure he the right one. Right. Like I can't do it.
Right.
So what about? All right. So sticking on that subject, how important is it to one, know yourself, and not necessarily need to know who you want, but I think knowing who you are, how important is knowing who you are and being okay and being complete. That's what I'm looking for. Being complete with yourself before getting into a relationship. Like, would you recommend that? Or would you say, well, you can get in if you still working on a whole lot of stuff, or if you messed up, or, like none of us are perfect. So of course we always working on stuff.
Yes.
But so what are your thoughts on that?
I don't think you have to have it all together because, we may not ever have it all together, but you should be confident within yourself. You should be at a place, where, where you're somewhat stable. And when I say that, I mean, like mentally and emotionally. You may not be stable financially because you all know starting out, I mean, we was both broke when we first got together, you know what I'm saying? But we had a mission, we had a plan. Of course, as time went on, things got better. But you do need to be stable within yourself, stable within your thinking, confident within yourself, because you don't want to take what can I say? You don't want to take stress into the relationship. You don't want to take confusion into the relationship, you know. And so I really think you do have to be somewhat stable before you make that move. But more so being confident within yourself. You know, I had to be confident to go to her. You know, I couldn't be doubting. You know what I'm saying? You know, so I definitely think, you know, being confident is something that you have to have.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's something that's important because a lot of people take too much baggage into their relationships, you know, because they haven't dealt with a lot of stuff that they should have dealt with. And so they get married with baggage, right? And then when you get married with baggage, you're going to go through your baggage at some point. So I'm either going to go through it by myself in the corners of my room where nobody can see me, or I'm gonna go through my baggage with somebody else. And so most time it's so important to know and get to a healed process.
Right.
Like I should be healed from all other relationships. I should be healed from some of my childhood traumas. I should be healed. There should be certain levels that I'm at, because there are things that I'm going to deal with in my marriage that if I'm not healed from, it could be damaging to my relationship. You know, it could be why you think that way? Why would you think that I would do that to you? Well, I'm thinking that because of past trauma that I've been through that I've not been healed from, and it has nothing to do with the person that I'm with, that I'm dealing with it. I'm dealing with it because I never dealt with it in the first place.
Right.
There has to be a level of, you know, God has dealt with me in certain areas where when I came to this, I was completely whole. Like I knew who I was. I knew what I wanted. I knew what I would tolerate. I knew, you know, what I would not tolerate. I knew, you know, the role that I would play, you know, and I was good with understanding what I would be, you know, dealing with in our marriage. So,
and what's interesting, because like one case in point is that, you know, coming into our relationship, I had minor children. She didn't.
Yep.
You know, and I had different kids' moms, you know, and all of that had to be, I guess, dealt with and settled before I got into this union, you know. And I gotta say she handled it well. Her and my children's mom get along really well, you know. And but again, that takes a level of confidence, that takes a level of maturity. You know what I'm saying? You know, especially on her part, to be able to deal with that. Because again, I came into the marriage, I guess, for lack of a better term, I came into the marriage with baggage. You know, and
good baggage.
And yeah, it was good baggage, but you had to make
adjustment
and a choice on whether you wanted to deal with it or not. You know, because you know, a lot of times you know how it can be. It can be chaotic when you're dealing with, you know, babies, mamas, and stuff like that. You know,
and that took prayer for me, because the first thing I said, I told God, on my list, I said I don't want to date a guy who has kids. That was really on my list, you know. And so when I brought that to God, I said, God, look now, I told you I ain't want no man who had kids. He already starting off with 3. Like, what's going on? Like, you sure you sent him to me? Like, I really had to pray about that. And I had to look at the motive behind why I said it. I said it because I didn't really want to deal with that baby mama drama. Like, I don't want to have to deal with her pulling up and yelling at me for no reason, and when she don't know me and all. Like, I don't have time for all of that. Like, we can be cordial. We can co-parent together. I know my role. Y'all parents. I'm the side parent. Like, I can handle all of that, but I couldn't handle that baby mama drama stuff. Like, I don't do drama well. And so God, He really confirmed with me that's not the case.
Right.
I promise I've never really had to deal with baby mama drama in none of our marriage.
So I think in less than a year, my oldest son was living with us. In less than a year of us getting married.
2 months.
It was 2 months.
We got married in July. In September.
I see who's the one who knows all the dates and numbers and all that.
Right.
In September, he was already here, living with us, you know, and going to school with us and everything. So it does take a level of knowing what you can handle, what you cannot handle, what you will deal with, what you will not deal with. All those different things play a role in, you know, even in a dating scene. Like, you know, Sometimes knowing you is to know the red flags when they pop up. Like, oh wait, that's something I said I would never deal with. Oh, that's something I said I would never go back to. That's something I said I would never tolerate.
Right.
Learning those red signs about you will help you see the red flags that are there, so that you don't settle for what you will not tolerate because while you're dating. Like if you settle for while you dating and then you end up getting married, you knew what you were getting.
Yeah.
Right.
With what the package that you signed up for, because you signed up for the package knowing all of the red print, because the red print most of the time showed itself.
Yeah.
Dating, but you didn't pay attention to
it.
You
ignored it. You put those blinders on. You
didn't understand or love or respect yourself enough to say, I deserve better.
Right.
So I think that knowing yourself is to know I deserve what I deserve. And if it's not what I deserve, I'm sure God did not have that for me because I deserve better. You know? And so you have to really know yourself and be confident enough to say, like there's certain things that I would have never tolerated him doing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And he knows it and he's never done it.
Right.
So,
and I think that's incredibly important because like one, if you don't know your parameters, so yes, first you have your idea of what you want. You definitely know who you are, but then that third piece is what you won't tolerate. Like these are the no deals, like deal breakers. If you smoke, or if you do this, or you do that, or you don't do that, or you don't, you know. And so Cal, actually both of y'all know the story. I'm going to just tell a little bit of it. So I was dating this girl once and saw all kinds of from the jump, red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag. But but I was like, well, she's working on that. I could deal with that aspect of it, different things. And long story short, after just a week, like all these red flags came before, and then a week, we spent a week together, and in that 1 week, I found out that she had PTSD.
Wow.
That I don't want to try to diagnose anybody, but I think she was bipolar. Or she had some bipolar tendencies.
Right.
Okay.
She went from this nice person and she started cursing me out. She started accusing me of different things. She accused me of stealing from her, and then she tried to embezzle $13,000 from me. Yeah. Asking me, I know you stole it. I know you went in my wallet. She used to carry a gun. And then one day I didn't even do anything. She just got mad and she was visiting me. And she asked me something and I was ignoring her because we had just gotten into it. So I was ignoring her. And she called the police on me.
Okay.
They came to my house. 3 police officers knocked on the door and said, is such and such here? I said, yeah, she's here. Well, they said, does such and such live here? I said, no, she don't live here. I said, but she's here. They said, okay, well, can we come in? We got to call a disturbance of domestic abuse. I was like, oh, come on in. Because I was like, I know I didn't do nothing.
Right.
So 2 officers went in the back and started talking to her. One talked to me. And after they came out of the room, they kind of huddled around me. They said, sir, we didn't believe a word she said, but you need to get her out of your house. And I said, okay, great. That's what I was thinking. Can y'all take her?
Right.
They said, no. Once you invite somebody in, you got to evict them.
Right.
I'm like, evict? You got to go to court and all that. But it was all these red flags that I saw like immediately. And I was just like, nah, that's okay. Or I'll get past that, or she'll stop that, or whatever. And no. So I dodged a huge bullet. I mean, like they could have believed her.
Yeah.
Messed up my livelihood just because I picked wrong, because I let those red flags fly by.
Right.
So yeah. I want to welcome Dorinda, Ophelia, Betty, and Sky Zoo. I don't know who. SkyZoo2484, if you can put your name in the chat. Thank you for coming on, and thanks everybody who is joining us tonight. Make sure you hit that like button and you subscribe and you share this video out. And it'll
make sure they put their names in so we can know who they are.
Yeah, put your names in here. Put your names in here. So Dorinda said, I know several couples that may not have dealt with or have buried past traumas, and they come up in the course of the right relationship. In that scenario, what is your advice? So let me reread that.
Yeah,
I know several couples that may not have dealt with or have buried past traumas. Okay. And they come up into the course of the right relationship. In that scenario, what's your advice?
Let me touch on that. So, because I've had past traumas, right? So for me, like I said, in my singleness, I had to deal with me. I mean, we met because I was writing a book. My book it's called Unleash the Beast, Leap into Your Inner Peace. So it deals with different techniques of gaining your inner peace and getting over that stinking thinking, I call it. Okay. That negative mindset, the certain things that I used to, do to myself, doubt myself and put myself down and things like that because of what other people did. I believe the lies of other people and what they spoke into my life, right? So I went through a season, and you still kind of go through it because this is life. This is what we, things sometimes try to repeat itself, and you got to learn how to combat those things. But for me, who asked that, Dorinda?
Dorinda.
So for me, Dorinda, I would say, honestly, counseling. I went to therapy. And so, and I had to become accountable to someone else. And I just put myself for real in therapy to deal with the things that I had to deal with from childhood stuff. Because I knew I didn't want to bring that into a relationship because I know that those are certain things that was holding me back as a person, just having a good life, right? Mm-hmm. So I didn't want to bring that into a relationship. So I'm the type of person, I'm a lifetime member of therapy. I don't have no problem saying it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I see my therapist once a month. I just saw her yesterday. So like I have to deal with that. Okay. So when I met him, I already came to him and was like, this is what XYZ. Okay. I'm may not be completely healed, but I know God is dealing with me and I know how to get through these. I know the different techniques that I need to do it in order to get over. You understand what I'm saying?
That's a good point, LaMarr. To say that when he came, you went to him and said this, right. Because it's best to put as much as you can on the table,
right?
In the beginning, okay, yeah.
Right.
It's best to put it on the table so we can deal with it. So hopefully, it may not come up later on because we've already dealt with it. Right. We that's one point we touch on when we do marital counseling. When we do marital counseling, we try to get couples to be honest and put everything on the table if they can't, if they can recall it or what have you, or as much as they can, so we can deal with it. So again, if it comes up later on down the road, we can say, you know what, we've already talked about this, we've already faced this, we already know about this. So if you can put things on the table and deal with it, then that'll kind of help things later on. And you're right, counseling, therapy is great.
Right.
A lot of times us as Black people don't believe in it or don't do it or won't do it, but it's really helpful. It doesn't mean that you're crazy. Right. It doesn't mean that something necessarily is going on wrong. But this is the tool that we're going to use.
Right. It's just a strategy.
These issues. That's all it is.
Right.
But a lot of times we don't look at it like that. But it's really good that you thought enough of yourself to get the help that you need, to get the clarity that you need. Right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I think the problem comes in a lot of times when it is not when you're mature enough to know what your issues are. It's when sometimes you don't even recognize that you have, prior trauma that you have never dealt with. And when it comes up instead of dealing with it or understanding why I feel the way I feel, or why I'm responding the way I respond, or why I'm handling it the way I'm handling it, a lot of times we go into denial mode. There's nothing wrong with me. I ain't like, it ain't me. That it gotta be you.
Or you
like,
put it on other
I don't
person.
have an issue. I don't have an issue. And that's the problem that comes into it, is that a lot of times people just don't want to deal with the things that they deal with. But whatever you're not dealing with, we're not dealing with it together, because it still affects me, is what people don't realize. And so a lot of times when stuff come up, you really got to say, okay, well, let's wait a minute. Let's take a step back. Let's kind of unpack that a little bit. Let's kind of go back and see, like, why did you snap so hard? Like, what is it? Like, I know it's not me that you're snapping at. Right. But I'm the one that the only one that maybe you can snap with. So you're angry at me, but I'm not the issue or the root of why you're really angry. And so sometimes sometimes everybody in the relationship is not strong enough to have those conversations. And we're not mature enough to be able to unpack that together. Sometimes you may feel like you can't be vulnerable with your spouse. Maybe because of who your spouse is, you don't feel like you can open up and share. That's an issue. You know what I'm saying? That you can't open up and share. So those things you kind of got to pack. One thing I wish that couples would do, I honestly wish that every couple would go to a counseling at least once a year. Even if there's nothing wrong in your relationship, I feel like every couple, if they just went to a counseling session and say, where are we? Like, are we going in the right path? Are we going in the right trajectory? How is our year gone? What are the struggles that we went through? How do we make it through? Like, those things will help can make us accountable to somebody else. Right. Like, we're more than likely going to open up to other people than we would open up to our spouse, because one, we feel like we may be in a safe place where someone is not going to just take a side because they don't know us. They're not going to defend anybody, or they just going to be able to give light to, or give, opportunity to good conversation. So I just feel like sometimes every couple should be able to have someone that they can go to, and let's just talk about how was our year, like how did everything go, like were there some challenges that you maybe have not dealt with that we can deal with in this session. I think it would be something good for all couples to do, honestly. And it don't have to be nothing wrong. It could be even coming up with how you're going to grow for the next year. Like, sometimes you just didn't think about it or didn't even plan for it, but they spark something in interest in your mindset to help get you to that next level. So I just think it would be something good for couples to do.
That's good.
So I had a couple follow-ups. One, just going back to the red flags and things like that. And being an individual first, being whole first. So since you guys have been married for 23 years, would you say that either one of you all feel covered up by your role as opposed to who you are? Like, do you ever lose yourself in being Mrs. Edison, or you being the husband of Ra'chel, as opposed to still being yourself?
Still being who you are.
And do you think that's a problem? And I say that because I feel like that's happened in my situation before. And so I think some people can get covered up by playing the role and then forget who they are. And then even the person who covered them forgets who they are too. So you understand my question?
Do you feel like they lost themselves?
Yeah.
What you're saying?
Yep. I think I would say no.
I would too.
I would say no for us, but it goes back to the role again, right? I understand our role is a partnership. Right. Like I go back to, he is the president, I'm the vice president, but at the end of the day, we're always consulting each other because we're in this entity together. So us being in this entity together, it's not like he has an overbearing role where he is my master and I'm just his puppet, and whatever he says goes, and I have to live by his rules, and that's when it becomes I lose myself. But because we're in this partnership together, we don't really have that, because we understand that I need him to make it, he need me to make it. Like I'm his helpmate, but at the same time, like we're in this together. You know what I'm saying? So there are times when he has to make decisions because somebody got to be a decision maker. Like we can't. If we got a disagreement, somebody gotta make some kind of decisions. Like I think this is what we're gonna do, and he has to stick by it. You know, he has to stick by it. And I have to say sometimes, like, okay, I may not agree, but okay, we're gonna try this out and see how it go. And then if it don't work out, then let's come back to the table together. You know what I'm saying? And deal with what didn't work, why it didn't work. You know, all those different things. But I think sometimes in relationships, people take the roles too serious, right? You know, or too far. That's what it is. It's too far. Okay. You know, they take this submission thing too far, and they take this, you know, I'm the man of the house too far. Absolutely. And you know, I mean, there ain't really no particular roles that's even in the house. Like sometimes I'm gonna wash your clothes, sometimes you better wash your clothes. Sometimes I may wash the dish, sometimes you may wash. Sometimes you ain't home. Am I not gonna take the trash out because you ain't home? No, I'm gonna take the trash out. Like the roles sometimes relationships are taken so far because maybe they've been taught too far, or their relationship with their parents, or how they grew up, and all those different things. But when you start to think about God created us as a partnership, like he created us to work this thing together, like at all times. So everything has to be discussed together, you know, and he brings ideas to me, and sometimes I bring ideas to him, and sometimes he may look at my idea and say, oh, that's a great idea. You know, we just had we had a big decision to make about one of our properties, and the way he was thinking about it, I was like, nah, I don't think I would do that. What I would do is I would do it this way, and I would save some of our money here and only do this. And he was like, oh, that's a great idea. So sometimes I'm the smart. I got the best ideas. Sometimes he got the best ideas. Sometimes, you know,
I usually have the most.
Whatever. I gotta think he got it the most, but I subliminally gave it to him, right?
However it flows.
Right. But I think I don't lose who I am because he allows me to still have visions and dreams of things that I want to do on my own.
Talk about me.
Whatever. And I still allow him to have visions and dreams of things that he wants to do on his own. And then there's some things that we want to do together. You know what I'm saying? So he, like, any kind of business or something that I may want to start, we talk about it, we discuss it, and he might be like, all right, go ahead. He ain't gonna part of it. He don't want to do nothing with it. He'll help me, support me or whatever, but it's mine, you know? And so he allows me to really be who I am. And I allow him to kind of be who he is.
And being the head of the household doesn't mean, you know, you have to be dominating or domineering or what have you. It doesn't mean that you have to be, it doesn't mean that you have to be controlling. That's not what it is. You know, the head of the household means that, you know, okay, you know, you are ultimately responsible for making sure that your household is in order, but it doesn't mean that I have to be controlling over her or, you know, or yelling and things like that, or saying you have to do this or you have to do that. No, she's my wife. I have to treat her as my wife. But the Bible says men ought to love their wives as Christ loved the church and gave himself for it. Right. You know, Christ would not have
he wouldn't have cussed his wife out.
Right. Or he wouldn't have done any damage to the church or done anything to hurt the church. You know, and so that's the mindset that I have. You know, yeah, I'm the head, but this is still my wife. You know, she's there to help me and undergird me, but, you know, walk with me side by side. You know, it's not that I'm necessarily in the lead, you know, she's right there with me side by side, and we're doing this thing together. You know, so again, like what Pastor Ra'chel said was maybe how some people grew up or what they saw in their parents may make them think that they have to operate a certain way or run things a certain way. But as for us, no, I can honestly say that hasn't been the case for us. It really hasn't. We both know our roles and we respect each other, you know, respect each other. Yeah.
I was about to say something, but I don't remember what it was. If I think about it, I'm gonna come back to it. Yeah.
Well, Ra'chel, to your point, in terms of having counseling, that every couple should go through counseling even annually. So a couple questions on that. First, would you say that there should be preventative therapy Now, this is just generally speaking, not even couples, but like, would you recommend that people just at least go to a therapist or a counselor and just kind of see? Because some people don't know that they're traumatized.
Yes.
So somebody starts probing and saying, what was your relationship with this person? You know, what happened when you was a child?
See
and,
the pattern.
you know, so sometimes you don't even know for real. So you can't reveal it to somebody and you can't address it.
Yep.
But it'll come out.
Yep.
It'll definitely come out when that person rubs you in the way that whatever happened, you know, triggers you. So do you think that preventative therapy would be something good? And then my second question is, in terms of couples counseling, since you all do that, how can a couple really lean into counseling and be honest? Like, I would think couples will come to you, if it was premarital counseling, for instance, they will come to you with the mindset that they're getting married. This is just a formality, right? So how do you address that to make sure that they're sure, or at least sure enough, that they're going to go into this marriage like it's supposed to be gone into?
All right, to answer the first one, yes, I do feel like people should go to counseling before they even think about getting married. Because a lot of times we think we're prepared or we're ready, and we really not. And most couples do not go to counseling for themselves before they go to counseling. I mean, a lot of times if you're good and you're strong in Christ, you got a good relationship with Christ, a lot of times God will deal with you with some areas before you get married. But I think a lot of times people really do need to go to counseling and just make sure this is something that I really want to do. I just want to make sure I'm ready. I'm ready for the next step or where God is taking me, you know, and if not, let me deal with me so that I won't take that baggage into other people, because you're right, people don't never know. Now, what we see a lot of times that when we do start counseling people, that is when stuff really start coming up, right? Stuff that they never dealt with or stuff that they never thought about. And I mean, I be in counseling sometimes and see people be like, what?
Because we try to challenge, we really try to challenge people to bring things out of them. That's what we do, you know. Our counselors kind of get towards that. We try to bring things out that, you know, that they may haven't even talked about.
And we always start counseling with telling them that, look, we already married. It ain't gonna affect us one way or another whether you tell the truth. But for you, it benefits you to be honest about where you are and what you're dealing with. Because if you don't deal with it now, I promise you're going to deal with it later. And if you deal with it later, there may not be no one to help y'all get through it, you know? Right. And so we really challenge them. And I'm really strict in my counseling. Pascal may not be that strict, but I'm really strict in my counseling that I'll even tell them I don't want them to have sex before the wedding date. Because and I tell them why. Like, it is biblical, but at the same time, I tell them that not performing that act before marriage, a lot of stuff gonna come out that you've been covering up because you've been sleeping through some red flags, or you've been sleeping through some, you know, that you're not dealing with. Right. I say, so if
you ain't getting none,
right?
I
said, when you're not getting,
when
you're not getting none, the
you got more brain power.
They're starting to irritate you, or I'm starting to notice how dirty you are. Like you'll never clean the house. Like, what's going on? But when I stop the act of that, I begin to then see the real you. And so I'm really strict when it comes to counseling, because I want people to really challenge themselves to see the real person that they're getting ready to get married to. I said, and a lot of times I have to put those stipulations in the front. People always say, I can't do that. Hey, if you don't, it's on you. Like, I'm already good with mine. Like, but it's to benefit you. Like, this is to really benefit you. And I really stress that a lot.
Yeah, she give people homework.
I do.
And our counselor says she actually gives homework.
Yeah.
Well, Betty said self-discovery and self-development help also.
Yeah.
And then Kathy, she said therapy in a relationship is helpful. You can gain a lot of information when in a relationship that may be missed through that counseling.
Absolutely.
You know what else is good? We always talk about counseling too, but I think praying with your spouse gives you a lot of insight.
Yeah.
Like, I can be praying with my spouse sometimes at night, and if he's praying or I'm praying, I hear him say things to God that maybe he has never said to me. And I'll be sitting in the prayer like, okay, I didn't know you prayed for that. Or I didn't know you was thinking about that. So it gives me insight into his mindset of where he's thinking or what he's, what he's praying about or what's on his mind that he may not open up with me in a day and talk about. Because men just don't talk about everything. We come home, we talk about A to Z. We talk about, but everybody, everything we can think about. We talk. So we always share, but they may not always share. They got it on their mind. But a lot of times, if couples will pray together, sometimes it will unlock the thought process of your spouse and what he's thinking and what he's going through and what's on his heart sometimes, because he's in prayer. He's not thinking about you sitting beside him, but I got inside knowledge. I got insight into what we thinking about and where he going. So sometimes I think that's a benefit too. Going back to that prayer again.
Okay. Good stuff.
So I wanted to have this quick analogy. So one thing about relationships that I notice is that most people don't really put a lot of energy into it. They think they are, but they're not. And so they put a lot of energy into courting and trying to get the girl or get the guy, but then it stops. But like when you have a brand new car, right? And you got it off the lot, it's all shiny, it's clean on the inside. Most people are going to go get their car washed on a semi-regular basis. They want a clean car, right? They want to get a tune-up. They're going to get their oil changed, hopefully regularly. If a tire go out or if it's a little low, they're going to check on it. They're going to do some things on a regular basis because they want to make sure that car lasts, right? But we don't do the same thing in relationships. Like, don't we want our relationship to be clean? So we need to do some things. We need to wash. We need to get rid of some stuff in our lives individually as well as a couple, right?
Tune up. Get the tune up.
Get the tune up. We need to check in on each other. That's the tune up.
Yeah.
Hey, how you feeling? And I think a lot of people stop doing that. And then to Betty's point, in terms of self-discovery and self-development, a lot of us don't seek other resources. So we may go through counseling, but there are like a ton of resources. A lot of people say, well, there's no book on marriage. There's no book on raising children. Yes, there is. There's a Bible. So there's one book that covers it all. But okay, let's say you're not into that or you don't know where to look or whatever, there are some other resources. So could you all share some resources that you would recommend to couples at any interval in their relationship, whether it's a radio program, a book, certain pastors to watch, whatever.
I'm gonna think about the resource, but to this maintenance, I think one thing that we started doing this year was we started going away. We picked every month we're gonna go somewhere, right? And it don't gotta be nowhere cheap. Expensive. It don't have to be nowhere. Like we got a camper. We can go somewhere for like $60 and just park our camper and just sit there and we disconnect from everything, And so when you disconnect from everything, you disconnect from our phones. We don't, answer everybody's call. It's just our time. We don't really talk about anything but what we need to talk about at that time. You know what I'm saying? So it's that sometimes you just got to disconnect from the world and from your phones and who you call in and talk. Because a lot of times my husband he'll come in, I'm on a call, a meeting. I'm always doing something or busy. So, it's that grabbing of my attention, you know what I'm saying? So sometimes you got to disconnect. That's one thing that we definitely have decided this year we're going to do. Another thing that we do is I tell him when I need to be dated. Like I'm like, we haven't dated in a while. Like I need you to take me on dates. Like I need to go out, we need to do something. I don't care if we go get some ice cream, whatever, and he'll say, is this a date? Sometimes I'll say, yeah, this is a date.
Let him know.
Right. And then sometimes I'll be like, no, this is not a date, but then certain things, if I see a good sermon or I see a good reel that maybe has something to do with him, that like he would benefit from or that I would benefit from. Sometimes I'll be like, let's watch it together. Let's watch this and see what we get out of it. Let's talk about it. Let's have a discussion about it, or something like that. Because I think those are important. There's times when we've gone away on a retreat together and we picked out, this is what we're going to watch. this is what we're going to talk about. This is what we're going to discuss. We plan out this. We're going to fast. We're going to talk about this, blah, blah. I think those things are definitely important for us to be able to have those meaningful conversations and open the door for things that we may not be talking about on a normal basis. Why? Because we in the busyness of life that we didn't take a moment to sit down. Like back in the day when we was young, like we used to always have dinner at the table. Like we would sit at the table, it's dinner time. Dinner time, we all at the table and we gonna all eat. That's like so long gone now that we don't have that moment anymore to sit down and say, how was your day? How you doing? By the time we eat dinner, it's like eat dinner, go to bed. I'm tired. I'm gonna shower. I'm ready to go to bed. Those type of things. So you kind of have to make that time to be able to tap into some things that really will benefit your relationship.
Yeah, and we've been sitting just watching like a lot of television together now, like more, watching a movie or something like that, or she'll watch. I like old shows.
Old shows. Ooh, child, he take me way back, God. I be like, Lord Jesus, it's a sacrifice. It's like
right.
But that builds our relationship.
She'll sit and watch my old shows with me, though.
Right.
So it's just taking that time together, because again, it can slip away, like you were saying. It can slip away, and we have to find things to bring it back. Find the time to bring it back. Take the time to bring it back. And get it back in motion, because if not, you'll lose it. Yeah.
But
marriage is a relationship. I mean, marriage is a
working process.
It's a working process. I don't want to call it a job, but it's a role, right? And it's ordained in the Bible. So obedience is more important than sacrifice.
Absolutely.
Right? So yeah, sometimes we have to be sacrificial and do something we don't want to do, but we're obeying the law of this covenant. that we've created.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there are so many resources out there. We got Google. You can Google so many resources. You can Google whatever you're dealing with in your marriage. You can say, marriage infidelity sermons, and all these passages will come up, and you can find one and you read it, you listen to it and be like, oh my God, like, child, he was talking about me. Like, there are so many resources out there that we just don't take the time to search them. We don't take the time to look for them. We think resources are going to come to us, but no, you got to really whenever I'm dealing with something, I go and look for what I'm dealing with. Right. And I find everything that I'm dealing with on it, and I will look at a whole bunch of stuff and really deal with what I'm dealing with through what I'm dealing with.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. How's this situation? All right, so what do you mean?
Read it.
All right. So it said, some say how you start a relationship is how it should always remain. Do you agree with that assessment? I'll start there.
How you start a relationship is how it should remain.
I think if you started it truthfully,
right.
But a lot of times we don't start a relationship truthfully. Like I remember when we got married, I used to be like, boy, I'm having sex with you every day. Like I came with all these little things that he was gonna have. Boy, that ain't last forever. I be like, look, every day? No. Like, so I just think that if you started with the truth of how you want your relationship to start, right? Like, we're gonna always make sure that we keep God as the center of our relationship. And you should always keep God as the center of your relationship. Right. If we always say, I'm gonna always be honest with you, no matter how it makes me feel or how bad it is, then we should always remain honest with each other. So when we think about the substance things, like, really dig into what we really want to stand on, then I feel like, yes, we should always stand on that, because I promise there gonna be some times when you're challenged with, child, I gotta talk to my spouse about this. Like, I don't want to. But if I stood on, I want to always make sure that I'm honest with my spouse, then guess what? I gotta be honest with my spouse, And so I think sometimes we put things in the atmosphere that are not realistic. And we shouldn't put those things in the atmosphere, but things that we really can hold ourselves accountable to, we should set those standards and always live by those standards.
Right.
And I think we need to always be thinking progression. We should never stay stagnant.
Right.
Right.
We ought to always be increasing in areas of our relationship, you know, and so whatever that takes, you know, again, so to answer that question, I would say no. The way you started should not be the way that you finish it, you know, because it should always be getting better. We should always be trying to make our marriage better, working on it, you know, to increase it, you know what I'm saying, you know, to get closer, so that we don't grow tired of each other, you know, or you know, and to keep, I guess, the flame going, you know. So we ought to always be adding something to the fire to keep the fire growing even more. So no, I would say no. The way you started shouldn't be the way that you finish. I think, you know, you ought to always be increasing, right? Always be making it better. You know, doing what you can do now. Sometimes it may be easier said than done, but you know, but that's the mindset that we have to have, and that's where we have to get to. You know, there may come a point where we get stagnant. Okay, let's see how we got here, and let's see what we need to do to make this better. Let's see what we need to do to get out of this and get past this.
Right.
All right. Well, so I'm going to take a little break, and since you talked about mindset, Cal, we're going to play Mastermind. So night session, we are going to go back. You said you like old shows or old movies and stuff. We're going back to the old dating game, the 1970s and 80s dating game.
Okay.
I'm going to ask a series of questions, and you guys are supposed to write down your answer on your card without letting each other see the card.
Okay.
Until I ask you to hold it up. We're going to play it too, and I'm inviting everybody at home. You can join too. All you need is a couple sheets of paper and or a couple cards, index cards.
And my coworkers on. I invited some of my my coworkers to identify their name. Yeah, if any, Alexis Parker is here. If any,
that's my coworker.
Okay. Hey, Alexis. Kathy Barnes.
That's my best friend. Hey, best friend.
Tia.
That's my daughter.
That's my daughter.
All right. So, my people on. Yeah, more people are on. These are the only people who've made comments. On there, can you just at least
say hi? Put
your name in there and say hi. Let us know that you're watching. Even if you end up watching the replay, you know, let us know that too. Type that in the chat. You can watch this at any time. All right, so it's just going to be real quick.
Don't be looking at my answers either.
I got something.
Yep. All right, so the first question, we'll start off easy like a lie detector test.
Okay.
What is your mate's favorite color?
I think I should know that.
And then on the back of your card, you write down what your favorite color is.
That's easy. She knows that.
Okay.
How well you know me.
All right. So first, we're going to hold up the card of your mate's favorite color. All right. So let's hold those up. I don't know if y'all can see that. Y'all can't even see mine. All right. I'll just read it.
I just say purple and gold.
All right, I put orange.
I put purple and gold.
Okay.
I put pink.
My answer is purple for me. And Cal, is yours purple and gold?
You got mine right.
I got his right. I have no favorite color.
Oh, you don't?
No, me either. But he knows. I don't really have a favorite color, but orange would I like the orange family. You see, so yeah.
I don't really have a favorite color, so any color he picks.
Either.
I thought he would say purple and gold because he like purple and gold.
Yeah, purple and gold. You know that's their color.
Yeah,
all right. Next question. What is one thing that your mate knows that you love about him or her? One thing that your mate knows that you love about him or her.
What? Okay. I think that you know.
You have to try and say, and then what you think. I'm gonna say.
I don't know.
What you think I'm gonna say about you?
About me.
I don't know, babe.
Okay.
All right. So, all right. What do you have, Rachel, about Cal?
What I like about him?
No, what you think he loves about you?
Oh, my feet.
Okay.
She's right.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
It was like a physical thing,
not
or it could be
not necessarily.
okay.
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily, but
So,
okay.
What did you say, Cal, that you think she likes? I mean, that you like about her?
what you say? What you say?
I don't know.
All right. What'd you put?
You
I
know,
put you're calm.
As you say that now, okay, yeah.
it seems like I know you more than you know me.
All right. So I put
the word.
I put for LaMarr. No, I put that she likes my transparency.
Okay.
Okay.
I put his calm, the way he is. He's so calm, and so he brings peace.
Okay.
In every situation.
What's the vice versa?
For her, she's open like a book. She basically transparent also, but she just lets me know everything. Like, good, bad, or indifferent.
Yeah.
So, and she didn't put anything.
I didn't put that. I know. All right. I failed on that one.
What is your fantasy vacation spot?
You have some. Oh, I'm gonna guess that.
Pick one.
What's yours?
What do you think is the fantasy vacation spot that your spouse would probably come up with first?
Oh, your fantasy vacation in Africa.
Fantasy vacation.
Fantasy. Oh no.
Okay, so we'll go first. Are you ready? Are y'all ready? Because she's not ready.
Are you ready?
You going there?
Yeah.
We ready.
All right, so we'll go. So for her, I put Dominican Republic because I know she's been there, but she says she wants to go back.
I just put Africa. I don't know, somewhere in Africa, I'm sure.
Okay.
Right, so, but did I get this right?
You did DR, yes. I love DR, yes.
And I have Ghana, so she's right in Africa.
I knew. I was like, no, it's Africa, somewhere in Africa.
Okay.
What do y'all have?
Okay, so for Kyle, I said Jamaica.
Okay.
What'd you put?
I put Bermuda.
Oh. Okay. Well, I know last time he complained he didn't get to see Jamaica.
That wasn't like
we gonna make sure he go see Jamaica.
I know Jamaica's fine.
And for me, I put somewhere. For me, I put somewhere exotic.
Y'all went back since we went, right?
Nope, we going back in June.
No,
May.
We're going back in May.
Where'd y'all go? Y'all rode the Doom buggies or whatever.
That was in
DR.
That was in DR.
Oh, that was the DR.
That was DR, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I put somewhere exotic.
I put Virgin Islands.
Okay, that's somewhere exotic.
All right, that is exotic.
Close.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Okay.
Okay. You got a question?
Yeah, 2 more questions.
All right, come on.
Okay.
So now, what is your? I didn't write these down, but give me a question.
What about what's your favorite pastime? Like what you like to do? Yeah, what's your favorite pastime?
There you go.
My favorite pastime. I don't know. I don't know.
not tell you.
I don't know. Let me think.
Cal writing a lot over here. I don't know what he writing though.
Okay.
Okay, y'all want us to go first?
Yeah.
Okay, so Cal's favorite pastime, I think, is long rides. He likes to take long rides.
Mm-hmm.
Which you write down?
I put hanging at the gates.
Oh Lord, yeah.
Yeah, come on, Rachel. But he does like long rides. That's true.
I do. I do.
Hanging at the gate.
Yeah, I'll have to take.
Okay, I know what you're talking about now.
For her, I put spending time.
All right, I got you.
Spending time with you.
Spending time with you.
It's a good pastime, but I put sleep.
All right.
I put travel anywhere.
Well, for me or you?
For you.
All right, and then what about you?
For me, it's my favorite pastime. I don't know.
Well, for her,
music, singing.
For her, I put sleeping.
Yeah. I'm sleeping. I'm gonna tell you, if I can get a nap, I'm gonna take a nap. If I don't get it often, but I like to sleep.
Movies. Movies. Okay, that's another one. Yes, movies. Yes, he goes every Tuesday. Yeah.
Okay, last one. What is the date that you met?
The date?
The date.
Well, not that you met. Let's say, all right, let's make it easy.
Oh, I can take where we met.
What is the month and year that you started dating?
Okay, let me see.
Now, if you get this wrong, something wrong with us. Because we knew. You writing a book.
I write a book. I had to think about it. All right, so let's see. I hope I got it right.
What you put?
October 2024.
Oh, so did I. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
You mean 2023?
Yeah, 2023.
Oh yeah.
Oh, 23.
That's right.
23. We both
what you put?
Year.
I put October 1999.
I was close. I said November. October is really when we first met.
Right.
And in November, that's when he really wanted me to go meet his family, and I was like, no. So we about the same. We close. You close, man.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Very good. Very good. All right. So that's that. Couple more questions. We know Minister Grisha has to go to bed.
Is that what you said?
Well, she said last time we were going too long. We can always watch this later on. All right. So in terms of careers, finances, and other premarital deterrents, what are some things you think couples should have in place before settling down? So you talked about mindset already, Cal, but what other things would you recommend that they have in place, or that you recommend when you're doing counseling?
Well, we recommend them having a 3-year, three-year plans or goals, 5-year plans or goals on what they would like to achieve, once they've gotten married, so do that, write that down, write the vision and make it plain, so we suggest that they do that and share that with each other so that you'll have some type of I guess, a blueprint or some type of direction in which way you should go to ultimately make your marriage better. That's one thing we recommend in counseling. That's one of the homework assignments that she gives. A 3-year plan, goals, and a 5-year plan and goal. Yeah.
I think something else that a lot of couples don't establish, but they have to think about at this time where they will fellowship. Like we make sure that, like y'all will fellowship somewhere. Like where are we agreeing that we're going to fellowship and we can grow together? So like that's something that just needs to be established, because a lot of times we meet people and they at different churches or different places or different states or anything. Yeah. You don't know what God's gonna give you or where He's gonna send you. And so even when we got married, I had to make a decision that I was going going to be at Open Bible, because at the time my mom was opening up a church and she was thinking I was coming with her, and I was leaving Open Bible and coming in, and then I had to make a decision like, no, I have to be what my spouse is going to be, and we had to make the decision. So that's an important thing that you kind of have to have established. We always talk about finances. You may not have to have your finances in correct order, but you need to establish where you are financially. Like, I should know what your credit score is. You should know what mine is. You should know what debt I'm bringing to the table. I should know what debt you bringing to the table. Like, we should establish who's going to be the one that's going to handle the finances. Like, and it don't have to be the spouse, the husband. It could be whoever's the better person at managing the money is the person that needs to handle the finances. So, those different things need to, kind of be established,
Yeah, those things need to be talked out. Again, like you said, with the finance, that's one of the things that we have them put on the table. So again, there's nothing that's going to harm us down the line because we've already put it on the table. Okay, if we talk about you got bad credit in the beginning, then we already know that that's something we can work on. Or if you realize you need to make more money, okay, we realize that's a goal that you have to reach. So those things again, we just try to put on the table, and so they'll have something to want to go after. But also, again, if anything comes up, they can be like, what, we've dealt with this before, so it's not a surprise.
So we got the Gates in the house. Everybody at the Gates got Pat and Cherie.
Hey, Gates. Oh, they woke up when we said the Gates was his favorite place.
Pat said, bring my lady to the Gates. I'm gonna get over there. So another thing that I would say, kind of just touching on the mindset piece, is understanding what marriage is. Like, before you get married, you should come to the table with an understanding of what it is. And we talked last time about what a wife is and what a husband are, but just what that covenant means. Like, does it mean I give up X, Y, and Z, or that I add on X, Y, and Z, or so I think that's very important. And the meaning of a vow. So when we talk about vow, what would you say about making a vow? Is the vow important between two?
It is important, but let's go back to what you said about covenant. Marriage is a covenant relationship. And again, nowhere in the Bible will you see where God breaks covenant. Okay. So when it comes to marriage, that's a covenant that should not be broken. Okay. It's very minimal on when we talk about divorce, or reasons for divorce, or acceptance of divorce, So again, marriage is a covenant relationship that is ordained by God. In the Bible, you'll never see where God breaks covenant. So we have to look at this. It's a covenant relationship that should not be broken. So we gotta take that serious. And like you said, that you have to consider. You got to consider everything. You said something about. I believe you said. I forget exactly how you put it, but you was like, mostly you was like, it's give and take. Okay. A marriage is give and take. Sometimes you got to give a little. Sometimes you got to take a little. But we have to have that understanding that it is a covenant relationship. And again, you'll never see in the Bible where God breaks covenant. So that means that it's serious. So we shouldn't walk into this covenant if we're not serious about this. We shouldn't walk into this covenant if we haven't fully thought about it or fully talked about it, because again, you'll never see where God breaks covenant. We know the Bible says he hates divorce, and so again, the grounds for divorce is very, very minimal. I ain't gonna necessarily get into that, but it's very, very minimal. And so we gotta have, again, that mindset. You know what? This is a covenant. We enter this covenant to stay in it forever. To stay in. That's why the vows say, for better, for worse, for sickness and in poor, riches and in health. You know what I'm saying? So again, those vows are important. It's not something that we just repeat just to be repeating. It's something that we have to live by and something we have to guide our marriages by.
Because most of the time you're gonna have to deal with that. I mean, you're gonna have to deal with the richer and the poor. And more time we the poor more than we the richer sometimes. You know what I'm saying? So if I can't stick with you when you ain't got no money, like when we first got married, I made more than he made. Like, you know, and we it was our money. You know what I'm saying? Well, my money, I never, you know, we never talked about I made more than him. If I brought my stuff to the table, he brought his stuff to the table, it's our money. You know what I'm saying? So there are times we're gonna have to deal with sickness and health. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm the healthiest person in our relationship, but in the last 2 years after our accident, I was the least healthiest. You know what I'm saying? To the point where, you know, he had to get me dressed. He had to, you know, get me baths and showers. Like he had to literally take care of me to the point where I couldn't take care of myself. I bet you did. But those vows are so important because it's a roadmap of the trials and the tribulations that we could encounter in our marriage. And so it's not just about the good times. It's not about, you know, when I'm well. It's not when we got a lot of money. It's not when everything is going well. It is really, it's a ministry. So there are times when we literally got to come back and minister to each other. Like, child, we going through, it's rough. We in a rough patch right now. Like, this ain't going good. Like, let's come back to the table, and we can literally have to minister to each other. And it's not just, and our marriage is not even just for us. Our marriage is for others to see. It really is a ministry, you know. And people are always watching our marriages, watching how we respond to each other, watching how we act, how you know, how I talk to him, how he talks to me, how he reverences me, how he puts me down, like all those different things. People are watching, you know. And so it's important to me that I love him the way he needs to be loved, and he reciprocates that same love back to me, because I want people to see the goodness of God. I want people to see that a great marriage can happen. I want them to see the God that's in our marriage. I want them to see, you know, that we can go through some things. And, you know, people that are close around us have seen us go through some things, but they've also seen how we came out of those things. And, you know, how we loved each other through some things, and how we supported each other through those bad times and good times, and sickness and health, and richer and poor, you know, all those different things. So it's important to take those vows seriously, because there will be a time when you will be on the other side of the good.
You'll be tested.
And you'll be tested. And those are the times when people are really watching, like, ooh, let me see how they're going to get out of this. Ooh, let me see how they're going to deal with this. Ooh, they going through what? Oh, Lord, let me see how they're going to make it through that. You know, people always know your business. They know what you're going through when you don't think they know what you're going through. But they really are watching to see how you come out of it, to see, okay, if they came out of that, man, okay, we good. We gonna figure out what they did to come out of that, so we can come out of that. You know,
some people won't get married. You all know, based off of marriages they've seen that didn't work.
Yeah,
or, you know,
or
you know how things have happened in marriage. And they're like, well, that's what marriage is like. I don't want to do it. You know, so we have to show what godly marriages are all about. You know what I'm saying? That's what we should be mirroring, you know, what a godly marriage is. So that's what we should be reflecting. So that's what people need to see, so people can say, you know what, I can do that. I can do that. Yeah.
Right. I think it's important to know that we're always on stage. So as individuals, we're always on stage. I think if people really just ponder just that one little point, that somebody is always watching them. Right. Even in this cancel culture, someone's watching you so that they can cancel you, right? Well, someone's also watching you so that they can learn or garner some lessons from you. So as a couple, if we go into it also remembering that, it's like, let's be on our best behavior, not only for this union, but also for all the other potential unions out there, for our children and for other people.
Absolutely.
You know, it's our responsibility. And like you said, it's a ministry, right?
Ministry is hard, you know, and it's ministry is demanding, you know, and so is marriage. Marriage is very demanding, you know, a lot. And you gotta keep your focus. You gotta keep your goals. You gotta, you know, keep each other in mind, and sometimes take a break from other things to come back to this, your first love. and figure out what it is that we need, because if we're not good together, it affects so many other things. You know, if we ain't good, it affects ministry, because they gonna know we ain't good, because I'm gonna be rolling my eyes at him while I'm trying to preach the word. Like, it ain't gonna be great, you know. And so it affects so many different things that we always have to be good to each other, you know. And then where we're not, we have to come back to the table and get it back together, you know, because we ain't perfect either. We definitely not.
That's that. Like
I'm more perfect than he is, but I'm just kidding. But we not perfect people either, you know. We got our flaws and we got our we got our stuff.
Yeah, say that.
You know, we work on it together. And when I get out of line, I get him back in line. Most people will say, like, I'm his mother. Your mother coming back. Is she coming over here? Or, like, you know, sometimes I be like, you acting like my daddy, but he should. Because, you know, my dad used to provide for me. My dad, you know, used to make sure I had provisions. He protected me. Like, sometimes he got to act like my daddy, you know.
Well, and, says leave your parents and cleave
we leave and cleave. So if I'm going to leave and cleave, you better protect me. You better, you know, look out for me. You better provide, you know, all those different things. So
do all the things he was supposed to do. The dad was supposed to do. Because some dads don't do that, right?
Yep.
So since I see Pat up here and the rest of the Gates fam, should booed up couples only hang with booed up couples?
I mean, to me, it don't matter, because I'm gonna be booed up.
Or can you hang out with individuals too?
Say that again.
Can you also hang with individuals who aren't in relationships?
I think you can. I mean, because I'm the same whether I'm with people who ain't booed up or if they are booed up, if they got great relationships or they don't got great relationships. You know, I'm around a lot of different couples because I'm gonna be who I'm gonna be regardless. Like my marriage is never gonna shift or change based off of who I'm around. If it's a bad relationship, hopefully y'all see something to make one of y'all relationship better. If y'all not booed up, hopefully y'all see something to make y'all want to be booed up. You know, so to me, because we're grounded, I think we can handle being around different type of relationships. Now, if you are not grounded, you know what I'm saying? Maybe you don't need to be around relationships that's not booed up, because then y'all may try to boo up with each other. I don't know. But we strong in this, so we're gonna be the same regardless of where we are. I don't.
Teresa says yes, and I want to chime in. One of the audience members, Teresa. Teresa and Robert says yes. That you should be, you know, only hang with other couples, and I think, like you said, it's important to know who you are and how you're going to deal with things, because we don't always know the motives of somebody else.
That's true.
Individual. But how would you mitigate that? Like, if you are going to be open to hanging out or, you know, going to company events by yourself or whatever, how would you recommend that couples mitigate, like, the potential for things for other people to come on to them, or you know, or anything just in general? Like, what do you do in terms of you all? Like, do y'all have conversations or what?
I mean, you have to be honest with your spouse, and you really got to be honest with you. You know, if you're in a relationship with your spouse where your marriage is not that great right now, and you're leaving the door open for temptation, right? Those not the times that you need to go and hang out with other individuals that may not respect where you are in your relationship, you know? And I've been in situations where people have been friendly to me, you know, and they knew I was married. And if they took it too far, then I shut it off. I cut it off. No, we can't have no conversations ever again. Like, there's no, I'm closing the door completely. And I still go back and tell my spouse, like, this what happened. You know what I'm saying? Like, this what happened. You're like, I mean, this is crazy. Like, we laugh about it. We joke about it, you know, because we're strong. But then there's times when he had someone send him a picture of him with a baby suit. He didn't keep that picture to himself. He shared that with me. Like, man, look what somebody sent me. This crazy, ain't it? Right? Like, we share those things so that we don't allow that door to ever be open. You know what I'm saying? is when you allow yourself in a situation that allows that door to be open. Once you open that door, it just keep creeping until eventually that door is so far open that you can't even close it. And so a lot of times you have to know who you are and how strong you are with your relationship. Like there's nothing coming in between this. Like I ain't even gonna allow it. But when you're in a relationship where you allow things to happen and you don't shut the door, the enemy will have an opportunity to come in. Right. And that's where he'll wreak all kind of havoc because he just tests you to see what you will allow.
Right.
Exactly.
And so when he tests you and you say, I'm gonna shut the door and my spouse gonna know about it, you to let him know it ain't happening. Any couple that's around us know I protect him. He protect me. Like ain't nothing coming in between us. You can try all you want, but it's just not gonna happen. Like there's no other person better for him than me. There's no other person better for him. You know what I'm saying? So it don't matter who we hang around. Ain't nobody coming through that door. I've been on trips where I went on my job and I hung out with people by myself.
Right.
That door ain't never gonna open. Like we can talk about your mama, we can talk about your girlfriends, we can talk about whatever you want, but what we not gonna talk about is us. It's just not gonna happen. So you gotta be careful of how the enemy can come in and try to separate you. You know, and my husband, he'll shut stuff down in a minute. You know how you play them games and they be like, you know, well, what if you was married to something? My husband be like, we not playing. We not playing that. We're
not even gonna play it.
Like he don't even want to play the game. He like, no, they be like, but it's just, you know, we just want to see that. No, ain't nobody gonna be accidentally married to my wife because it's not gonna like I don't even know it's gonna be. Ain't gonna happen. So you have to shut stuff down. Because stuff will try to come in between your marriage.
They're laughing down the gates right now.
Stuff will try to come against, you know, your thought process, or that it'll try to wiggle its way into your door. And then next thing you know, open the door and you can't go back.
Right.
So you gotta shut that down. So if you're not strong enough, sometimes you may need to only hang around couples that are like-minded like you, have the same mindset as you, can, you know, be able to shut stuff down like you. Right. If not, don't hang around them.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
So we're gonna close out. I want to share these resources real quick.
Okay.
These are just a few. They're on the screen. So Marriage Made Easy. That's Dr. Michael and Dee Dee Freeman, and it's actually Marriage Made Easy in 30 Days. I believe it's called the whole thing. The 5 Love Languages. That's by Dr. Gary Chapman.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Ready to Wed is by Greg and Aaron Smalley, a couple. And then Kingdom Marriage, that's Dr. Tony Evans. He also has Kingdom Man and Kingdom Woman.
Okay. Love it.
So it's definitely recommended that a couple read all 3 of those. And then there's Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus from John Gray. His Needs, Her Needs, Willard Harley Jr. And then there's some programs that I listen to often. Focus on the Family.
That's a good one. Yeah, I like that one.
Family Life Today. Both of those are radio shows that you can find on, you know, some of the local Christian channels. So, but there are countless resources. Now, all of them aren't good, but I think all of them can be beneficial to read because sometimes you need to know what not to do. And some of these books may have the wrong thing. You'd be like, no, I'm not going to do that. So I would still recommend people read certain things and read them together. Like, you know, y'all can discuss it. Like,
that's
you should pray together. I think you should also read together and you should study together.
Yeah,
because you learn.
Yeah, definitely study together. Yeah, I like that.
So y'all have any closing words? Either one of the 3 of you all before we shut down?
I think this was really good. Good conversation. Especially like I said in the beginning, to be able to talk about things that a lot of times Black people, white people, anybody, just couples in general do not discuss or think about or talk about before they even get into marriage. And now a lot of people are already in it. And now what I do, because I didn't talk about it before. It's so many couples out here that don't even want to do counsel before marriage. They think like, oh, we've been together for years.
Right.
That still don't mean you don't need counseling. Like I said, and I always tell them, I say it's good to always still get together because there may be some things that you may deal with down the road. Or some things that maybe y'all dealing with that y'all just ain't dealt with, but y'all just been dealing with it because y'all been together so long. Like, so I think it's still important. So I think this was a good conversation to have to encourage people who are dating or thinking about dating, thinking about getting married, already married, and still in the thick of it. Like, we all need to grow. And we all need to, make ourselves better, make our relationships better, and make our decisions better. And so I think this was a good conversation to talk about.
Absolutely.
Yes, I agree.
You agree?
Anything, Dave?
I just want to say, I hope, well, I know you will, but I'm just glad that you open up this type of platform to be able to talk about things like this, because even with us, most people talk about marriage because they're married. So married couples have these type of platforms and things like that. But because we're newly dating and we're learning from married people, I think that's a good, this is also a good resource for other people to be able to see this and know that, people can learn from this type of thing. I'm just, glad that we're together and that I'm.
Are you blushing over there?
I am, and then we're learning because we are new, and I think honestly with this relationship is it's just totally different from anything that I've ever been in, and I know that God has His hand on it because of the way we went in it. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm just praying that, we continue to glean from one another and we continue to grow in God and things like that, and allow God to continue to be the base of this relationship, because it's not going to work if He's not. So, I'm just thankful for that, because we do read together. We need to get back to it, but we read, we study together, we pray together, we do these things together, and I just hope people can learn from us as well as a new relationship. So,
and something very important that has been troubling me. I don't have good posture, so I'm really taller than her. So if y'all been looking at this all night long, like he's shorter than her, no, I'm taller than her, but I don't sit up straight. She has good posture.
I don't.
She has better posture than me.
I have to work on it. I'm very mindful of it.
So I just wanted to put that out there in case somebody thinking about, if they couldn't hear anything because they kept looking. Look how short he is. Get over it.
I don't know now. Are you really taller than her?
I am taller. I am taller.
Okay.
So you all can find Pastor Calvert and Pastor Ra'chel Edison on YouTube at Believers of Faith Ministries. It's every Sunday at 10:30 a.m. on the dot. Maybe like boom.
On time, huh?
Yep.
If y'all want to follow a godly couple and just watch them in ministry, they always deliver a very powerful word. And so if you're not associated with a ministry already, they mentioned earlier that one of the things that you should have is where you're going to fellowship. So if you don't have a ministry that you're fellowshipping with, I would highly encourage you to tune in on Sunday, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube and lock it in so that you get your alerts.
Facebook.
And on Facebook. That's right. And on Facebook.
Oh, okay.
And then you all do Bible study every other Wednesday, is it?
Every Wednesday.
Every Wednesday.
At 7 o'clock.
Every Wednesday. What time?
Every Wednesday, 7 o'clock for 30 minutes.
7 o'clock.
Oh.
Okay. All right. So that's where you all can tune in and definitely get those resources, get some of those resources, start building. Even if you're not even thinking about a marriage right now, I would recommend people start reading those type of books.
Right.
So you can kind of know
what you're getting yourself into.
Right. And then writing the vision, like Cal said, not only as a couple, but write your own vision about what you want out of yourself. And you can see where you are on that path. And that would be something good to share along with your finances, along with your 5-year goal, with your with your potential mate or with your current mate.
Mm-hmm.
Let them see, okay, where do you want to individually be in certain areas. So with that, again, I appreciate you all. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, if any of my coworkers came on, thank you all for coming on. You know,
yes.
I know all the sales people are on. But, you know.
Let me just see if there's any other questions here. Okay. All right. So Teresa said, "Excellent chat. Good night. Excellence at work." Dorinda said, "Thank you all. Blessings to each person in the couple." All right. So again, thank you all. So we're going to close out.
All right.
There's our audience. There you go. All right. Thank you all, folks. All right. We love you all. Y'all take care. Have a great evening.
Love you, man.
All right, thank you for sharing with us.
Peace.
See ya.
All right. Take care.
Bye.